Julia Ann Bean was born on May 2nd, 1981, and at the time of her disappearance she resided in Sumter, South Carolina. The 36-year-old had a troubled life. She had been in and out of jail for most of it and was also a drug addict. Julia did have 3 children, and despite her issues, a friend who knew her described her as a good person, a sweet person, and a great mother when she was sober. Julia did marry, but he was also in trouble a lot too, and he died of a drug overdose. She was also about to become a grandmother. Not much else is known about Julia, but her daughter recalled different men giving her money, and that she was more than likely escorting. In May of 2017, her daughter was about to graduate from high school, and she had gotten Bean tickets to attend the ceremony. On May the 31st, the mum and daughter made plans to get their nails done together at a local salon in the Red Bay Road area of Sumter. The two arrived separately. Bean's daughter waited outside the salon for her mum to arrive, and eventually she did, but she wasn't alone. Julia pulled into the lot in a dark truck driven by a man that Bean's daughter didn't recognise. The man driving the Chevrolet Avalanche introduced himself to Bean's daughter, and during the brief discussion he told her he owned lake houses and big boats, and she was welcome to visit if she ever wanted to have a boat party. He also offered to take her to a concert, and told her how fond he was of her mum, even saying he wanted to marry her. With her graduation the next day, Bean's daughter gave the man 2 tickets, so he could attend the ceremony with her. This would be the last time she would ever see her mum. Bean never showed up to her daughter's graduation ceremony and hasn't been heard from since. According to reports, on November the 18th, 2017, her family filed a missing persons report with the Sumter Police Department when they couldn't contact her. Although it's not clear if she was reported missing beforehand and it just wasn't investigated. In her home, Bean left all her personal items behind, including her keys, cell phone and wallet. She also left some drugs on a table. All of these things raising suspicions amongst relatives. She also had $5,000 in her bank account, which she left untouched. Her last activity on her Facebook account was on the 12th of July 2017. Although Bean had relatives in several states, none of them had heard from her. The investigation into her disappearance didn't really get off the ground, and for some of those closest to Julia, it seemed like investigators cast her aside. With her prior criminal offences and her drug abuse history, it seemed like Julia was a problem, who was otherwise not worthy of their time, said one friend. Unsurprisingly, the case would quickly go cold, and it seemed like Julia's case, which got little publicity, would quickly be forgotten. And that would probably have been the case. But in 2023, that would all change, when breaking news elsewhere would blow this case wide open. It had been 6 years since Julia Ann Bean had disappeared, and there had been little in the way of progress. The man she was seen with at the parking lot on that day 6 years earlier had never been identified or traced. Then, one afternoon, while Bean's daughter was browsing through some news stories, chills came down her, as staring back at her was the man she believed was the man driving the truck the last time she saw her mother. The man she was looking at was 59-year-old Rex Heuermann. In July 2023, 59-year-old Rex Heuermann was arrested in New York and charged with the murders of 3 women whose remains were found buried on Gilgo Beach along Ocean Parkway in Long Island, New York in 2010. The victims were sex workers who advertised online between 2009 and 2010. Heuermann pleaded not guilty to these charges, but after seeing his picture, Bean's daughter firmly believes this is the man who was with her mother, and to further validate everyone's suspicions, he owned a similar truck, as well as a property in which his brother lived in a wooded area in Chester County, South Carolina, about a 2-hour drive from the Red Bay Road area where Bean was last seen. Sumter has an active sex and drug scene, and it's possible Heuermann made the 2-hour drive from Chester County to seek sexual encounters. With this stunning development, friends and family of Julia relayed the account to the Sumter County Sheriff's Office and pleaded with them to investigate Heuermann. The department is now reinvestigating Bean's disappearance, but has so far failed to establish any concrete links to the accused serial killer. The FBI has also joined the investigation. For Bean's loved ones, they now hope investigators will finally act on Bean's disappearance and not shunt the case off like they had in the past. Despite her past problems, Julia was still a human being, with people around her who cared about her, and these people just want to see officers treat her case like that of any other missing person. As of December 2023, Julia Ann Bean remains missing and her case unsolved.